Today I want to talk about how to learn. Don't go. This is an important topic, and our traditional educational system doesn't allow us to learn in a joyful way. That is the reason why I want to talk about it, and it is going to be helpful for your learning and the progress. Sometimes we learn too much and we never make any progress. That is the reason why this video is important. And how do you learn fast, apply fast? How? You know, when I got into any industry I got in, I can spend within 2 years or 1 year to achieve great things. I got in quick. Some people, I have seen the people who got in the certain industry as the same time as me, but they never quite make the progress. And this is not about comparison. I'm talking about, this is a typical how do you say? It's a typical thing for many people. They tend to learn too long, too much, never get to apply for it. So traditionally you go to school to learn something, to school or any organization, you learn something. And once you learn it, you might spend 3 to 10 years to learn something. And you apply for it. I think 10 years may be too long. 3 to 5 years. I will say, of course, if you are a doctor or you are a lawyer, you really need to study the full time in order to operate on the patient. So obviously you have to do that. You can't, something that you can't quite make mistakes, okay? But I'm talking about lots of industries in the society you can apply very quickly. I have 2 different businesses, and for both businesses I spent probably around 1 or 2 years of learning and constant learning, okay, focused learning, and I got in the business, and I got a business going. So I have seen people got in the same time as me, but never quite make any progress. This is not about comparison. It is a common thing in the society. That we don't get to apply what we learn. We tend to learn too long. We tend to learn too long. And too much. Okay? We don't want this. Because when you do that, sometimes it is not because you want to learn. It's because of one, you have fear. You have fear around applying for the thing you learn to the reality. So your fear turns into procrastination. How do you say procrastination? Procrastination. Forgive me if I spell incorrectly. Okay, procrastination. Because you have fear, so you tell yourself, I just need to learn a little bit more, just a little bit more, tiny bit more, and 1 month turns into 3 months, turns into a year, you know. So you don't want that. You want to notice what are you actually thinking. What's the reason you take so long to learn, okay? So how do you learn? How do you learn properly? How do you learn? How? My method is I go opposite way. I go opposite way. I love to go opposite way. I apply and I learn. So what you do is, okay, I just want to clarify, I'm very professional in my career. But when I do this, of course, I still learn something. I might learn something and I apply very quickly. And I improve along the way. If I notice myself that I don't have enough knowledge in certain area, I will try to gather information together in order to do a good job, okay? So doing a good job still very important. Wait a second, my dog is eating something in my bindery. Clover, don't do that. Don't eat anything on the floor. My dog just eating anything on the floor. It's really annoying. That no wonder she gets sick stomach. Anyhow, okay, sorry. So I love to go the opposite way. For example, the example I can make is, okay, I do book talk. I remember I joined an institute, a coaching institute, and they taught us about facilitation and public speaking. However, I learned about 1 year or something like that. I took all the lessons I could take in the beginning. Some people, they wait for a long time I want to study level 1 in order to study level 2. But what I did is I studied level 1 to level 4 in the first year. And I just learned everything in 1 year. So I remember the trainer, he mentioned in the class that he said, oh, Chichi did a workshop in the first few months. Because many people, they took a long time to do a workshop. But I did my workshop in the first few months of joining the institute, because I'm not a perfect English speaker, as you know. I have accents, and but I just dive in. I know I just have to do it, and I need to practice it, and I still did a wonderful job. I had so many people came to my book talk, and the people were benefiting from the talk because I prepared for it. When I say I got in quickly, it doesn't mean I wasn't professional. Do you understand? They are two different things. Get in quick does not equal to no profession, okay? They are two different things. You can get in very quick, but very professional. How do you do that? By preparation. You need to prepare. You need to prepare. And I did my TEDx talk in the first 2 years. People in my institute, they took years. They sometimes never get a chance to do TEDx. I'm not saying from the comparing perspective. I'm saying to you, you don't have to wait for so long. I'm saying this to you to help you. You learn by doing things. You don't learn by waiting, keep waiting, You achieve amazing things by getting, learn, getting, and then learn. Because once you get in, you know what do you need to learn and what happened. Once, for example, you do a book talk, and I did a book talk, and I realized, I found difficult I found difficult to pronounce work. I used to pronounce walk. And I didn't know how to pronounce work properly. There are different vowels. Okay? There are different vowels. One is work. The other one is walk. They are different things, but I didn't know that. Such a simple thing I didn't know. But I noticed that in my book talk, a professional book talk, that people purchased my book. People purchased my books. So what did I do after the book talk? And I noticed I have something that I need to learn more. And I did my TEDx talk. Before I did my TEDx talk, I got into TEDx. I got selected to get into TEDx with my imperfect English, okay? Before the TEDx, I realized, okay, this is getting more and more serious. This is not a little thing. TEDx is a global platform. People watching it all over the world. So I realized I can't just not knowing how to pronounce these two. Obviously, I was confused with all these vowels. So I decided before my TEDx talk, 2 months ahead, I did my professional linguistic lessons with my teacher in Melbourne. And what happened? I learned my English until now. Every fortnightly, I take my English lesson to pronounce properly. Because of what? Because I started to take videos. I realized, hello, I don't want to have subtitles in every video. It's just too much to do. So I have to pronounce properly for you guys. So when you turn on the subtitle, you can literally see the subtitles and you can understand me. That's why I'm doing it. So that's how I do it. I do things first and then I go back to learn. But what we did in society, what we did in school, how did we do it? You know it. We learn something. We learn everything in school. We learn this. We learn mathematics. We learn physics. We learn everything. And what? We didn't know why did we learn that? And what? And we keep asking, why are we learning this? All the kids have these questions. Why are we learning this? And in the end, we leave the college or leave the school. So we realize, once I never get to use it. Many people, it's like, for example, I learned, I spent so much time to learn the history. I hate it. I never get to use it. I have never shared Taiwan history with anyone. This is just a little example. There are so many things. I'm not saying school education is not important, but I'm saying we should be able to blend into different systems. So therefore, we know why we learn what we learn. I still agree we need to go to school, but we need to do in a different way. I seriously think that we need to do in a different way. Especially if you go to different countries, they have different educational systems. And some students just learn better than another country's student because they have a different educational system and it makes all the difference. And then my dog is knocking the door. Give me a second. What are you doing? Okay, I'm back. So what you do is I recommend you still need to learn what you want to do, okay? However, I think it's very important to cultivate a skill you learn, especially if you are in business. If you are a business owner, you can't think like, oh, I need to learn accounting, I need to learn the logistic, and I need to learn how to make something. And it's like so many, you have a million things to do in business. I used to think like, oh, I can learn everything before I start my business. No. If you want to make progress, you just learn a little bit and then you start to think of ways to make progress. You can't keep learning. You are making excuses. You are making excuses for yourself because you are fearful for failing, for making mistakes. So go and apply what you learned in the short time. Don't keep waiting.